You won't.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of
The Wanderers of Weird podcast.
I'll let Brittany say that because I fuck it up every time. I sound like I have a speech impediment.
episode 2. Is that Wanderers?
Wanderers of Weird. I'm not making fun of speech impediments. It just sounds like I have one.
Oh, there was my water. I was like, did she ever bring me that water?
It's right there. You just threw it on the floor.
Yeah, I just knocked it on the floor. It's fine.
All right, so we're back in a little bit better of a way from the last episode you guys got.
Yeah.
Everybody is fully recovered from the flu or COVID, whatever the case may have been.
Right, whatever it was, I would say I'm 98%. Like, there's still some residual, but at least I can talk, and I sound like myself
Right.
again.
Well, and I have officially made it to the point where I have all the energy, and I've been squirrel on crack energy for the past couple days. It's been fantastic.
I hadn't got that back yet.
Listen,
I'm tired.
TJ was working nights this past week, and I was working yesterday, and he had to leave for work early because I got on his nerves. Because I was just that person. Pushing all the buttons. But, alright, so this week we are going to talk to you guys a little bit about some cursed objects, and I'm real excited about this topic.
I'm super excited. I worked really hard on this one.
She's got some good stuff coming for you guys. I am going to talk to you a little bit about what a cursed object is, how to determine whether your object is cursed, how to get rid of the curse or the object, and how to cleanse yourself in your space. I went real supernatural with this. I wasn't real sure how this was going to go when I started researching, but once I started going, the juices started flowing.
Yeah, I had the same experience.
It was fantastic. So I got a lot of information, so we're going to get going, guys. So first of all, my resource for this section is getridofghosts.org. What is a cursed object? We're going to say that a cursed object is an object that's had its own energy overwhelmed or removed and given a disruptive energy field instead. Usually it's intended that way. And it's meant for particular situations or people. So usually you've been given this object as a means of some kind of malicious intent.
Gotcha.
Or like your family. It's a family heirloom that someone was given with malicious intent, with the intent there being that it's something that's going to be passed down through the generations.
Right,
a family
right.
curse. How to know if you have a cursed object. According to onlinepsychicchat.org, I think it might actually be onlinepsychic.chat.org. If you've got chronic sicknesses that doctors can't explain in your house, which, now that I'm saying that out loud, my middle child has this random unexplained virus that the doctors have no idea what it is from time to time. You know, when she starts running those fevers and we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to start taking a look at what we got going in that house. Maybe. There might be a feeling of uneasiness at home. Cold or warm spots in certain areas of the home or your yard. I will tell you that my house is very active.
So is mine.
From time to time, you know, there's a few things inside, mainly outside though. I'm telling you, I'd like to get a hold of some research of like the history of the land that I live on.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, there's got to have been like some Civil War activity.
Yeah.
There's like some LARPing going on in my yard that I can't physically see. if people in your house have nightmares or unexplained fears. Supernaturaldiscernment.com says a sudden uptick of chaos or conflict in the home or a feeling of being watched. I know that I feel watched quite a bit, but I feel watched everywhere I go. I'm just a paranoid type person, so.
Same. But yeah, I too feel watched in my own home, depending on where I am in my own home.
I feel watched in your home too. But a lot of the times it's because of the felines. I was going to
say, a lot of times you end up looking around and you just see a cat staring at you from a corner.
So now let's talk about how you want to get rid of these cursed objects. I like the name of this website, Higgypop.com.
Higgypop.
Quickly move it out of your home until you can deal with it properly. Make sure that your intent is strong with what you're doing. So we'll say, sealing that curse or that negativity is a big thing. You're getting rid of it to seal it out of your home. Yeah. Okay? You can burn it, but make sure that whatever you're burning is not going to be like a toxic thing to the environment, because I'm not a hippie, but I'm a hippie. Let's not hurt the earth.
Let's not make things worse than they already are.
Right. Burning it is a good way, because fire is known to be used in purification rituals. Think about it in terms of germs. When you go get a tattoo, they've autoclaved, burned off the germs and cleaned and all that with the tools.
Yeah.
Doctors' offices do the same thing.
It's kind of like how some people will, if they've gotten in a bad way with a Ouija board,
try to burn it. Just listen. Don't.
You don't fucks with Ouija boards around here.
Don't do it.
I have one, but it's framed, first of all, and the planchette is not anywhere near it. It's purely for decorative purposes.
I'm not trying to do away with any type of company or product.
It's not a good idea.
It's just not. Why was that ever marketed to children?
I don't know. And why is it considered a game? Because I don't think it's a game.
I personally have never fucked with one.
No. I've heard too many bad stories, and I've been like, you know what?
Have I ever even touched the frames that yours are in?
No.
I can't. But anyway, when you go to burn them, I see I'm doing that thing again. I'm trying real hard, guys, to not do that anymore.
We're getting a little bit more comfortable, so.
But if you are burning it, if we're using burning as a means of getting rid of this, make sure and let it extinguish naturally. After it cools, after the ashes cool, salt that bitch. Salt it. Salt is such a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not just for seasoning, guys. Mm-mm. It's a good thing. Put the ashes and the salt mixed together in a container and bury them. Make sure that you're burying them in a good spot. But traditionally, when you want to get rid of curses and you're burying things, you want to bury it at a crossroads. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. This is all information still that I got from Higgypop. I'm almost positive that everything else that I have here is Higgypop, except for the last section. And that shit came from my brain.
Okay.
But pretty sure the email that I sent with my resources says last section, my brain bitch.
It did.
But so burying at a crossroads. Crossroads is where two paths meet and cross. Many energies have crossed that area. Supernaturally actives, and it's supernaturally active at the crossroads. Two realms can meet there. Fun fact: in the UK, there was a tradition of burying criminals at crossroads, as they can't be buried on consecrated grounds. Did you know that?
No.
That was interesting. I was real excited to find that out. If you can't bury at a crossroads, when I say crossroads, all I can think about is supernatural and the crossroads
that's all
demon.
I can imagine. That time's Snooki.
We're both supernatural lovers.
I got a supernatural advent calendar.
What?
It hasn't come yet. It'll be here tomorrow.
Yes. If you can't bury it at a crossroads, though, dig as deep of a hole as you possibly can. As possible, that's safely deep. You don't want to dig and hit some gas lines, water lines, whatever. Make sure that you're digging in a safe area, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Make sure that it is out of the way from everything, not to bother anyone or anything. And then pour more salt in on top of said box or whatever it is that you've put it in, and then bury it. There is no such thing as too much salt when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Right.
Throw it. You can also throw it in living water. So living water is going to be something like a creek or a river or an ocean, as long as it's constantly moving. That's living water.
Okay.
You want to throw it in there. And honestly, for us, it's not a realistic situation, but for those of you that might live in an area with salt water, brackish backwaters, things like that.
Despite all the salt life stickers, we are a landlocked state.
Yes, I'm telling you, you can't turn a corner and not see a salt life sticker in Tennessee. Listen, I have given the thought, because I do yearn. That is my life goal, to live that salt life. But I don't have a salt life sticker. I do have a sea turtle sticker on the back of my car, though. But your girl likes the turtles. But yes, when you throw it into living water, salt water is preferred. It's not a necessity, but it's preferred because, again, salt purifies. Yeah. Things like that. You do want to make sure that whatever it is that you're throwing in there is not going to harm the aquatic life that's there. We're not trying to choke turtles with plastic straws and balloons. Quit releasing your balloons.
It's littering. It's literally littering.
Use paper lanterns. If that's what you want to do, if you're trying to reach your ancestors, the ones that have passed on, use the paper lanterns, guys. Yeah. It's so much more environmentally friendly, and the turtles aren't going to suffer, okay?
But don't do it if you're in, like, a state that can catch fire very easily, like California.
Gatlinburg. Don't do it, Gatlinburg.
Don't do that anymore.
Don't put Dolly in danger. But also keep in mind that when you're getting rid of these things, it could end up in someone else's hands. So you want to try and do, what you can the best to seal it in there. Make sure that it's not something that can be easily opened and reintroduced to the world. You're trying to get rid of this chaos and not make it someone else's problem.
Right.
You can submerge it in holy water if that's something that you believe in. Funny story about holy water. I just thought about it. You ready for this?
Probably not.
I have a jar of moon water sitting on my desk at home where I work. And I was looking at it yesterday, and in my squirrel on crack energy I had going on, I opened it up and I looked at TJ and I said, I wonder if for people that, believe in this moon water thing, if this is the same thing as holy water. So then I dipped my fingers in it and started sprinkling at him and told him that the power of Odin compels him.
I'm sure he enjoyed that.
He did not find me as funny as I found myself.
That's probably why he left.
I'm sorry, babe. If you're not religious, then, make sure that you're using purified water or water from a living source. So creek water, river water, ocean water, things like that. If you want to throw a little salt in that creek water, not ocean water because it's already there, then, river water, creek water, go for it. That helps. Give it to a paranormal investigator, though. That would be what I'd want to do. It's not that you're handing that off to someone else, but you're giving it to somebody that may possibly know what to do with it. They can investigate it. They know how to dispose of it. They can take care of it for you and make sure that you're taken care of. 99.9% of the time, these paranormal investigators that you see out there are just average guys, average ladies. They're just nice people, and they just want to help. That's what they do. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I would love to be. I think that it would be fun. It would be educational, and it would be something amazing to try. But it's also very risky, and I'm not about that life. But these men and women who do the paranormal investigation, they're just out there trying to help everyday people that can't help themselves with things like that.
Yeah.
You've got You've got some out there that are out there for the glory.
Right.
We don't want to name any names.
Right. I don't want to start beef this early.
But yeah, so it's not hard to get rid of something like that, but you just need to really do your research and really make sure that you're being careful about it. You want to rid yourself of it, because God knows nobody here wants to deal with some kind of negativity like that. But also, when you do get rid of it, you're going to want to cleanse yourself in your space. And it's more than just taking a shower, guys.
Right.
It's more than just Lysol or Microban. It's some serious stuff. So this is the portion of it that came from my brain.
Okay.
Because this is what I like to do, okay?
Okay.
Meditation and visualization. So you're going to meditate and you're going to visualize that, hey, I want this energy gone. This has got to go. And you're going to visualize a cleansing rain or a cleansing waterfall washing over you and purifying you. You're going to visualize it, cleaning all the dirty away. And then, sometimes when you do things like that, you might actually feel the cleansing, tingly feeling. I know back in the day, it's for our church listeners, our Christian listeners, back in the day, it was a lot like, you feel that cleansing flood, that cleansing blood of Jesus washing over you when you got saved. Meditation and visualization can do that for you as well. We here are not particular. We're not here to tell you, preach to you our beliefs by any stretch of the imagination. And I do want you guys to understand that. I do want you to understand that we are not here to talk shit about any one religion, any one belief, anyone. We're not getting into all that, guys.
Right. We're simply here to educate on different
viewpoints.
Exactly.
We're going to get into stuff later on in the episodes, and we will remind you guys of this time and time again, because I for sure do not want you guys to think that we are trying to attack anybody with certain beliefs by any means.
Right.
Another way to cleanse yourself or your space: sage. Smudge your house. Burning the sage sticks.
Yeah.
Palo Santo.
Incense.
If you can't burn things like that, if you live in an apartment or somewhere where you're not allowed to burn things like that, they make sage spray.
Yeah.
It smells quite nice.
Yes.
I do want to put a disclaimer out there. You want to use ethically sourced things.
Right.
There are people out there that are going to try and gatekeep. And we may in the future have people come at us for saying that you can use white sage.
Yeah.
I just want to put it out there that I'm Native American blood somewhere down the line.
I am not. I had a DNA test.
I'm a mutt. Native American blood, Viking blood. I can use these things, okay? Moon water baths are also a good way to cleanse yourself.
Yeah.
I do enjoy a nice, relaxing bath. Throw a little bit of moon water off in there. You're good to go. Moon water is nothing more than simply full moon, new moon, sticking a bottle of water outside and letting it sit in that moonlight overnight.
Right.
It's got amazing properties to help you harness and cleanse and things like that. Sweetgrass. That's another thing you can burn. Cedar. I love cedar.
I do love cedar.
I love the way it smells.
Yeah, I have a cedar chest, and sometimes I open it up just to smell it.
My grandfather used to do woodworking in his shop. He used cedar a lot, so anytime I smell cedar, that's all I can think about. It's my favorite thing ever to go out in that shop. This is my mom's dad.
Yeah.
Palo Santo, I did mention that earlier. Palo Santo's got kind of like I almost want to say a minty scent to it.
It smells like tea leaves to me.
Yeah, I could see that. Copal, we mentioned copal back on the divination episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Copal's just like a sticky resin.
Yeah.
Clear quartz is good for everything, though.
Yeah, it's multi-purpose.
And then also amethyst.
Yeah.
Amethyst is a good one to cleanse. It's there for self-love. It's Clear quartz, rose quartz, and amethyst is your go-to for anything, guys. But that's all I got. That is all I got. So, Brittany, what you got for us is by means of specific ones. Look, I'm so excited about this, guys, because I've already read through this.
Well, I'm really excited about it, about you doing this particular topic, just because I've wanted... So my sister and I had a very, very short-lived podcast. Like, this episode puts us at having more episodes of this podcast than we did of the other one. And I wanted to do this topic and just didn't get a chance to. My sources for this week's episode are faxology.com, ancientorigins.net, jalopnik.com, and history.com. So my first object was one I've never heard of. And it's kind of bizarre. So Thomas Busby's chair.
I was really into that one.
In 1702, Thomas Busby was a known alcoholic and was short-tempered. During the planning of a crime with his father-in-law, Daniel Auty... Daniel.
That reminds me, there was like a movie or something we watched in high school or something, and it was like character's name was Daniel, but they were like country backwoods people. And Daniel.
So he was planning a crime with his father-in-law, and an argument ensued. They went their separate ways to cool off, and eventually met later that evening at a local pub. Daniel Auty had chosen to sit in his son-in-law's favorite chair, and there was another argument, which ended with Busby forcibly removing Auty from his chair and tossing him out of the pub. But this wasn't enough for Busby, and he planned further revenge. Busby grabbed a hammer and made his way to his father-in-law's home, where he bludgeoned him to death. It was apparent to him that he would be blamed, and so he attempted to hide the body in the woods. However, it didn't take long for the body to be discovered and for Busby to be accused. Busby was tried and convicted of the murder, and he was sentenced to hang and be displayed from the gallows to deter others from heinous crimes. Prior to his hanging, Busby was heard shouting, cursing, and promising all those who would dare sit in his chair a violent death. The first reported death that has been linked to the chair didn't occur for almost 200 years. It was reported that a man visited the same pub with his friend, drank too much, and sat in the infamous Busby chair.
So my question is, for 200 years, did people just not sit in that chair?
I wish I knew. They must not have. Maybe it was in storage, but we'll get to a possible explanation for that gap in time.
Got you.
So once the man left the pub, he was too drunk to continue on his way home and laid down on the road to sleep. The next morning, he was found hanging from a post next to the very same gallows where Busby was once hanged. During World War II, airmen would visit the area and would dare each other to sit on the chair, being fully aware of the curse. It is said that those that did take the dare didn't return home. In 1968, 2 other airmen sat in the chair, and though it was only for a second, according to sources, on their way back to the airfield, they crashed into a tree and died on their way to the hospital. There are many other stories of death associated with the chair, including a cleaning lady being diagnosed with a brain tumor, cyclists and motorcyclists crashing and dying after sitting on the chair, and once, oh no, I keep doing that. I zoom in accidentally. And once a group of builders dared each other to sit in the chair. One took the dare and later fell through the roof of a building and died soon after. It is said that the chair was cursed and has taken the lives of approximately 60 people. The owner of the pub locked the chair in the basement, and he was hoping to put an end to the curse. However, a delivery man saw the chair and decided to take a seat, and shortly after leaving the pub, he crashed and died as well. The owner of the pub had had enough of this chair, obviously, and donated the chair to the Thirsk Museum in North Yorkshire, England, on the condition that it be hung on the wall and never taken down. The chair has only been removed from the wall one time to be examined by a furniture historian who found that the chair could not be as old as originally thought and was from probably post 1840, and that there was no way it was the chair of Thomas Busby. But regardless, it still hangs from the wall of the museum just in case. So that might explain that gap in time. So maybe it's just a different cursed chair.
Maybe.
My next cursed object is the Delhi Purple Sapphire, or it's also known as the Cursed Amethyst.
I love amethyst.
Me too, it's so pretty. Once known as the Delhi Purple Sapphire before it was correctly identified as an amethyst, this gemstone was hidden for centuries, or for 3 decades, in the natural, that's definitely a different time. My thing zoomed in again, so I was just guessing. So the gemstone was hidden for 3 decades in the Natural History Museum of London until the curator at the time, Peter Tandy, removed it from its box to discover a note hidden beneath it. The note detailed the tragic tale that led to this stone being, quote, trebly cursed. And I could be not saying that word wrong. Or not saying that word right. I'm telling, my brain is fried. According to ancientorigins.net, after the 1857 Indian rebellion was quelled, the British Army sought to teach any future rebels a lesson, and they systematically ransacked and looted hundreds of shrines, temples, and palaces. One of these ransacked temples was the Temple of Indra in Kanpur, which was dedicated to Indra, the Hindu god of war and thunderstorms, who rode on a white elephant's back and carried a lightning bolt. It was during this siege that Bengal cavalryman Colonel W. Ferris lifted the purple sapphire that he believed would secure his family's future wealth. However, no sooner had the soldier returned home to England, his family faced many financial hardships, and every single member of the Ferris family fell ill. This pattern of misery and misfortune was said to be passed on to those who inherited the stone. When Ferris's son inherited the gemstone and then gave it to a friend, the friend suddenly and seemingly out of the blue committed suicide. This began a series of events that would become known as the Amethyst Curse. In 1890, the stone was given to Edward Heron Allen, who was a writer and scientist who was intrigued by the art of palmistry. According to Economic Times, India, when Heron Allen gave the stone to a singer friend. According to Economic Times India, when Heron Allen gave the stone to a singer friend, her voice was dead and gone, and she never sang again. This seemed to confirm to Heron Allen that this gemstone was indeed devilish, and the story goes that he threw it into the Regent Canal. But unbelievably, it is said that 3 months later, a river dredger recovered the stone, and a dealer eventually gave it back to Heron Allen, and according to the Natural History Museum, Heron Allen described the amethyst as being cursed and stained with blood. In an attempt to neutralize the evil power of the gemstone, it is said that Heron Allen had the stone bound with a silver ring fashioned as a double-headed snake and 2 amethyst scarab beetle beads, and he inscribed the ring with the 12 symbols of the zodiac before he locked it away in his bank vault within 7 sealed boxes. In his will, Heron Allen instructed that 3 years after his death, in 1943, that his daughter unlock each of the 7 boxes and give the stone to the museum and include his note detailing the stone's evil history. According to K.O. Jewell, the note said, "Whoever shall then open it shall first read out this warning, and then do as he pleases with the jewel. My advice to him or her is to cast it into the sea." In 2007, the amethyst was first displayed in the Natural History Museum, and in a History Channel Museum Secrets video, museum curator Kevin Savine said that he and his wife had transported the gemstone from a symposium of Heron Allen Society, that they drove through the most amazing storm we'd ever witnessed with lightning flashing on both sides of the car. He said his wife shouted, "Throw that damn jewel away, you shouldn't have brought it." And adding insult to injury, the curator then became violently ill every time he attempted to attend a meeting. He admitted that could all just be a coincidence. But I personally don't think so.
I don't know that I really even believe in coincidences, to be perfectly honest with you.
I think one coincidence is fine, but 2 or more is not a coincidence. Alright, so our last one, I'm very excited about.
I'm so excited about this one.
So, back in high school, we took a class called History of American Cinema.
Okay, so let me just preface this with saying there are those of us that really enjoyed this class for its intended purpose.
I very much enjoyed this class.
Let me rephrase. There were those of us who enjoyed this class for the actual history of U.S. cinema. The intended purpose of the class and what was actually told to us from the teacher of said class was that this is a bird course for seniors.
Just a filler
so
course.
That we could have at least, have that one passing grade that helped us through. Like if you needed that one extra credit to get you through to graduate, this was the class to take. I found it interesting, and I paid attention quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it was a great class for me to take naps in.
Yeah, and there were times where I did take naps, I'm not going to lie. But I think it took me a while to appreciate the class. And I didn't truly appreciate it until I was in my 20s, probably.
Right. Well, the teacher that we had, too, he's a very, very intellectual person. Yes. He's a very, very smart man. Yeah. He was old as dirt. Yeah. When we were there, the man had been teaching for forever. Honest to God, married a woman who then later became his wife, or taught a child. His wife was his student at one point in time, but they didn't get married till after. So there was no pedophilia.
They didn't date until after she had graduated, and
so that tells you how old this man was to begin with.
Right. But and he was only I think he said 3 years older than her.
Right. So I mean, it wasn't that bad. But age is nothing but a number. I'm just here to tell you, I've always been one that goes after an older person. But that class was fantastic. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. So this teacher was the first person that ever told me about James Dean's car, the Porsche or Porsche, depending on who you're talking to. I'm going to say Porsche 550 Spider, and how it was the car that he would eventually die in 1955. I had also seen the Unsolved Mysteries episode on the curse of the James Dean Porsche, but I was a little kid and it didn't really sink in. And so I'm calling my first experience the high school class. So during filming of Rebel Without a Cause, actor James Dean upgraded from the 365 to the 356 to the 550 Spider and made it unique by having George Barris customized it. He gave it tartan seats, 2 red stripes over the rear wheels, and plastered 130 on its doors, hood, and engine cover. Little Bastard was the nickname given by Dean's language coach Bill Hickman and was later painted on the car by master pinstriper Dean Jeffries. On September 23rd, 1955, Dean ran into fellow actor Alec Guinness of Obi-Wan Kenobi fame outside of a restaurant and had him take a look at the spider. Guinness told Dean that the car had a sinister appearance and then told Dean, "If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week." 7 days later, Dean would be killed in his beloved Little Bastard.
So do we want to talk about how he pegged that date line there? Did he do that? I don't want to like point fingers.
Did he
put
that
out?
juju on him?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So, by the time James Dean was 24 years old, he only had one film that was released. And on September 30th, 1955, James Dean met his fate in Colame, California. I'm telling you, some of these names, I'm not sure if that's right. And I remember looking it up, and I don't remember what the actual pronunciation is.
Spell it.
Cholame. I want to say Shalom. It might be Shalom.
Shalom and home.
So, this was in California. 84 miles away from the crash site at 3:30 p.m., Dean had gotten a speeding ticket and then had stopped at a diner for a Coke. At an intersection sat Donald Turnipseed, who had the glare of the sun setting in his eyes, and he did not see the Porsche coming until it hit his Ford Tudor sedan. Fortunately, he remained mostly uninjured, but Dean's passenger, German Porsche mechanic Rolf, I'm not even gonna be able to say this either, was badly injured but also survived. After the accident, George Barris, who originally customized the 550, purchased the wreckage of the Little Bastard for $2,500, and soon after, it slipped off its trailer and broke a mechanic's leg. Barris sold the engine and drivetrain to Troy McHenry and William Estrid. While both were racing against one another in cars that had parts from the Little Bastard, McHenry lost control of the car and hit a tree, which killed him instantly. And Estrid was seriously injured when his car suddenly locked up and rolled over while going into a turn. 2 tires that were untouched from the original Dean accident were sold by Barris, and not long after, both blew out simultaneously, causing the new owner's car to run off the road. Barris kept the remaining pieces of the Little Bastard, and soon it caught the attention of 2 would-be thieves. One of the thieves' arms was torn open trying to steal the steering wheel, while the other was injured trying to remove the blood-stained tartan seat. Eventually, due to all these accidents, Barris decided it was best to hide the car. However, he was convinced by the California Highway Patrol to lend the cursed car to a highway safety exhibit. The first exhibit was unsuccessful due to the garage housing the car catching fire and burning to the ground. Oddly, the car did not sustain any further damage from the fire. The next exhibition was held at a local high school and ended abruptly when the car fell off its display and broke a student's hip.
That's painful for anyone who doesn't know. Been there.
You would think that this curse would end here. However, it continued when the car was being transported and the truck carrying it lost control, causing the driver to fall out and get crushed by the car when it fell off the back. The car fell off 2 more transport trucks while traveling on the freeway, but fortunately no one was injured in those cases. The CHP decided that they had had enough of the Little Bastard, And while it was being transported back to Barris, the car mysteriously vanished and has not been seen since. It is said that there is a single piece of Little Bastard at the Historic Auto Attractions Museum in Illinois, but considering all of this, I think I'm not going to go anywhere near it. Just personally.
I mean, I kind of feel like I'd want to go and check it out. But
I don't want to
touch it.
I ain't touching it.
I'll stand 6 foot. 6 foot rule. Does that apply to cursed objects as well?
Social distancing. So there you have it. And I'm sure that there will be more episodes on cursed objects just because there are more that I wanted to talk about, but I just knew we wouldn't have the time. Like, we've got 4 minutes left on this episode. So I definitely want to do another one of these.
We will revisit because I do enjoy the cursed object stories. Now, as far as what I'm going to do for those episodes, I don't know because I just covered it all. But you know what? That's fine. I might add to the stories themselves. Who knows? There are no boundaries.
There's no limits.
The sky is not the limit. It's further. But you guys have a great night.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming to listen.
Or great day if you're at work.
I mean, wherever you're listening to this, you just have you have the day that you deserve. Okay?
Yeah.
I like it.
Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, whatever that is now.
Right. Twitter.
On Twitter. Listen wherever you can get your podcasts.
Email us at wanderersofweird@gmail.com. We're always looking for some kind of ideas, so hit us up with it, guys, and let us know what you're thinking. You guys are awfully quiet on the Facebook, so give us some stuff.
Also, you can leave reviews for us on Apple Podcasts, which we have 2, by the way. I'll read them to you.
We have 2.
I might read them at the beginning of the next episode because I feel like the next episode is going to be short. So,
nice.
I'll read them at the beginning of the next episode, and
we'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you. Pretty. One of the